Hi everyone, my name's Nathan. I lead partnerships here at Modulr, and today we're joined by Ronan from BrightPay. Payroll may seem like a high stakes business to some, or it might seem like a few clicks and a lot of spreadsheets. But what payroll really is, it's a key part to running any business smoothly. And in order to make payroll work for businesses, you need to think through the entire journey, from using your right software to selecting the right way to process the payroll payments in time to let staff get paid on payday. And today we're going to be speaking about the opportunity and the innovation that can be applied to that payroll process to save businesses time in the UK, but also looking at the opportunity to take advantage of great integrations like Modulr and BrightPay. Ronan, thanks for joining us. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Can you talk us through the evolution of Bright and where the product is today?
Yeah, I don't know if we have time for 35 plus years worth of history, but over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of change with Bright and our payroll solutions that we offer. So we started doing payroll solutions in the early 90s, focusing on SMEs and accountants and bookkeepers across Ireland and the UK. Mm-hmm. And the software has continued to evolve over those years in line with legislative changes and more features to help keep up with the needs of growing businesses there as well. Mm-hmm. So BrightPay is used in various sectors: retail, construction, professional services, along with bookkeepers and accountants. And we've released a lot of features and integrations there to help people keep up with the demands of modern businesses.
Right, and obviously you've done that by also moving to the cloud. That's the sort of latest development with the Bright software, isn't it?
It's a big focus for BrightPay is our cloud focus. So it's helping businesses improve their efficiency. Yeah. It offers more flexibility. So if you have multiple people working on the payroll, they can work more collaboratively. Mm-hmm. And remote working is a big thing as well. So it allows people to access the payroll anywhere at any time.
How can you explain, in your view, how tech advancements have transformed the payroll landscape in the last few years particularly?
Yeah, it's completely revolutionised, isn't it? It's automation has been a big thing there as well. Mm-hmm. Tasks that were once very, very manual are now streamlined. So it's putting more time back into the business to work on strategic growth. Yeah. A big thing over the last couple of years has obviously been remote working. Mm-hmm. Huge. So yeah, game changer there. The move towards cloud technologies has helped with that, definitely.
That sort of behind the scenes aspect of payroll is quite interesting, that people don't often think about it until there's an issue with it. So why do you think the sector of payroll operates behind the scenes when it's such a key part to sort of running a business?
Yeah, I think it's that back office function and it's that behind the scenes nature where people don't really see it as part of the company's marketing or their public profile. Mm-hmm. But it's so critical to a business, and I think they're starting to move towards that. They're seeing how important payroll is in the efficiency and remaining compliant. Yeah. And employee satisfaction is a big part of that as well. So it's the behind the scenes nature, but I think there's more of a shift for businesses now, and recognizing payroll as both a career and as a strategic function of the business as well.
Yeah, and when a business is looking at the options for payroll, particularly software like BrightPay, what's the key things that they should think about?
Yeah, so every business is different in how they're set up and how their payroll is set up. And I think if anybody is looking for a new solution, they need to come with a checklist. Yeah. Now, to create a generic one, I think something around compliance. If it's not compliant, it's not really fit for purpose. Mm-hmm. Another thing that they should look into is the security. You're dealing with sensitive information there. Really, really important that there's strong authentication, that it's stored on secure servers and things like that. Integrations with other software, something that will fit into your existing tech stack and work with your payments provider or your bookkeeping software and so on, or your pension providers. So there's a lot of things there that really should be at the forefront when you are looking at a new solution.
And you mentioned there obviously the integration with other tech providers, and BrightPay and Modulr have an integration. How do you think that the role of the evolving tech like the payments platform Modulr has made payroll more of a modern process versus how it was quite legacy in terms of spreadsheets, uploads, downloads, manually creating payments? How do you see that sort of value add that enabling real-time payments to payroll software has done for businesses?
I think technology in general has really revolutionized payroll. Tasks that were once very, very manual and mundane are now streamlined. And it's getting back all of those hours back into your day. So we often hear of cases of customers that were previously using legacy systems, spending hours and hours on payroll, and they're cutting it back into a day or even less. And we hear the same about payments, right? So there's people there that are manually doing bank payments for each employee every pay run. You could spend days doing that. Whereas adopting a solution like Modulr in conjunction with BrightPay, you can really just streamline that and do it in a couple of clicks.
What do you think's holding these practices and these businesses back from adopting that type of solution that might already use BrightPay today, or they're looking at payroll software in market? What do you think the key sort of factors are for them not adopting it?
I think one of the things is the perceived cost of implementing new systems, when in reality the prices can be quite comparable to existing fees. But what they should really look at is the opportunity cost. Put a value on their time, look at how much time they're actually spending doing these manual jobs and how much time they can save on that. I think maybe lack of awareness, not realizing how actually easy it is to implement these platforms together. On the other side of it, one side of it could be using legacy payroll systems that don't have these modern integrations to keep up with the modern needs of businesses today. Some people may have compliance concerns, but we know how heavily regulated this is and the space is around payments.
Yeah, and I think it's becoming more and more regulated, particularly where there's things like consumer duty that have now come into play that protect those micro enterprises that use financial products like Modulr. So it's particularly safe and made secure with all the sort of regulatory stuff that we need to keep up to date with, being an EMI and providing access to the payment solutions. It would be really interesting for us to understand some of the potential consequences of payroll errors when you're using those legacy systems, on both the business itself, but also on the employees in your experience, and some maybe examples you've seen firsthand.
Yeah, I think employees is the biggest part of that question, Nathan. So employee morale, if you're not being paid correctly on time, if there's discrepancies in your tax, that's going to have a knock-on effect on how you feel about the business that you're working for as well. Compliance concerns there as well. So if the tax filings aren't correct, then that's going to lead to penalties. There's also going to be operational disruptions there as well. The time spent fixing those errors can be far greater than the time spent getting it correct in the first place. And I think that having those things in place will definitely help retain talent and attract new talent in terms of the reputation of the business. But thankfully, the likes of BrightPay and Modulr working together helps mitigate these risks.
Yeah, and we've found from our experience working with new clients that come onto our platform that one of the reasons that you mentioned there, the operational costs, there's a lot of hidden costs, particularly working with bank files and using backs, where you make a human error. There's those hidden costs that when you have to re-upload files, it comes at a premium. And it takes a lot of time, and it's usually done at a very high pressure moment at the end of the month where you're about to pay the staff on payday. So that our experience really sort of resonates with those operational headaches, that an integration like Modulr and BrightPay really automates and takes away the risk of human error, and while saving a lot of time to the payroll professionals too.
It's so time sensitive, isn't it? Payroll is, and there's deadlines with payments as well. So you have those deadlines to actually get the employees paid on time. And using a faster payments platform compared to traditional methods, it's giving about 3-4 days back into that payroll process.
It's clear that payroll is a key part to building a resilient business. Can you give me some examples of how businesses have transformed their operations by improving their payroll process with using Bright and Modulr?
I have so many examples. And some we have had in the studio in the past, and we have some mutual customers there that have benefited from these integrations. Just to give a general overview, the average accountant or bookkeeper that switches to BrightPay and uses Modulr as well can save about 62 hours in processing time a month. And that's through the payments integration, faster payments, integrating with bookkeeping softwares, integrating with pension providers, offering portals to their clients and their employees as well. We have a couple of cases there outside of the accountant and bureau space. So we recently had a retail chain who had real discrepancies in their payroll with their legacy system, and it was really impacting staff morale. So they recently switched to BrightPay. They've reduced their errors by 80% and they've cut their processing time in half.
Wow.
And they're also using Modulr for the payments for their employees as well. Another example, we have a couple of clients in the construction industry. One recently that springs to mind, they were having real difficulty with implementing the payroll for hourly paid staff, and they were manually inputting all those hours. So seamless integration for importing the hours into BrightPay really streamlined their processes as well.
Magic. That sounds like the entire payment process has been completely thought through and rethought versus what they were doing previously with the BrightPay module integration on that back end, executing the payment, like you said, using faster payments opposed to the traditional methods where you had to get things done 3 to 4 days before. It's probably even stronger, the proposition where you have, like in construction and hospitality and retail, weekly payroll, where your time frames are even shorter for those payroll teams to get the timesheets in and processed. Because we have seen that typically businesses will save 75 to 80% of time versus previous methods of making payment when they adopt Modulr with their software. So that's reaffirming for us to hear you've found similar feedback from the market.
I've often had cases there and discussions where payroll's been a bit so much more than just paying people, but it is the end goal, right?
Yeah. So in your view, what is the future trends in payroll? Like, how do you see the role of real-time payments and accuracy, like you've mentioned there with journals and going through their bookkeeping software? How do you see that evolving in the next sort of 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think pay on demand is kind of a bit of an unexplored space. Mm-hmm. It's in its infancy. So I think there's going to be a lot more chat about that. Continued integrations, a focus on payments there as well.
Yep.
AI, that's all we're hearing about, right? AI and machine learning, I think that's going to have an impact on driving business decisions, ensuring accuracy and compliance for payroll particularly as well.
Yeah, I think AI, we've heard that from a lot of our partners, is one of the key things they're looking at. But I think where that really the value is added is to the user experience. So that type of building AI apps and applications into the software or into your payroll process using third-party AI applications can only sort of make it even more efficient on top of the Modulr and BrightPay connected payment journey. So we're really excited to see what sort of happens in the next 2 or 3 years, because particularly this year we've seen a lot of fast wins going in the direction of AI. So what does 2025 have in store for Bright and all your customers?
I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, we've on the AI piece, we're just after setting up an AI team in-house.
Nice.
So yeah, not just focusing on the products themselves, but we're implementing it into our software, into our support, so how we can better service our customers there as well. We're continuing to work on expanding our integrations, how payroll can talk to other business functions there as well to streamline data sharing. And yeah, a big focus on our cloud product now as well, with some nice features coming soon.
The key takeaway from today is that payroll professionals need support, not just from their colleagues, but also from the right payroll software like BrightPay or the right payroll processing partner like Modulr. So we've really loved having you in the studio today, Ronan. It's been invaluable to hear about firsthand your experiences and what's coming up for Bright in 2025. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nathan. It's been a great chat.